they're off. Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello, welcome to another season of Around the Track. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. I'm your host, Shirl Penney, founder and CEO of Dynasty Financial Partners, and I'm incredibly excited about today's episode because I'm joined by my good friend and colleague, Shawn Shook, who is one of the newer members of Dynasty in being with us now for a few months. He's our new general counsel. Shawn, thank you very much for sitting down and having this conversation.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
All right, so you know the rules on Around the Track. We have one rule, and that is we're going to try to make our way around the virtual track that's here behind us in as close to 15 minutes as possible. That being said, before we jump in, one of the things that I get asked a lot about by entrepreneurs is how you deal with succession. And it's still early, but I think we did this pretty well, and you're obviously replacing someone who, I'm biased. He's a dear friend, but I'm going to say he's a legend in the industry, John Morris, who's been, at Dynasty almost from the beginning as our general counsel. He's now going of counsel, so he'll be around to support you in any way that you need. Just talk a little bit about what that process was like going through, because I know we were so deliberate because it's such a critical role. But it's also something that I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with in terms of how to get that succession right.
Absolutely. Given that you're a sports fan, so I'll break it down that way. And I'm a sports junkie, so I know they say the hardest job is replacing a legend. You see it all the time in coaching. No one ever wants to be the guy who comes after Dean Smith or Mike Krzyzewski or anybody like that. They don't want to. The most important thing, and the thing I think people struggle with, is they try to be that person. You can't.
Right.
I am not John Morris. John Morris probably forgot more today than I know about this industry. The important part is to constantly be yourself, but also learn from the others. When you have a legend like John and he's moving into an of-counsel role, the most important thing for me is to build off that, to take that knowledge and everything else and use it. He's a resource, so I'd be absolutely crazy not to call him, to text him at all times of night, which I'm sure he loves. But those Sunday night texts at 8 when he just gives me a sanity check or his view on something, he's telling me the people involved, he's telling me how he would view it. Those are things that I constantly thrive on, and I try and incorporate them into my style. Now, with that said, I have to be me.
Right.
As you know, John and I are very different people. John is the very calm, cool, collected. I'm a little bit more the vocal and everything like that. But even in the 6 months I've known John and been working with John, I've kind of tried to, a lot of times I will sit there and think, what would John say in this situation?
Right.
And I'll take what he would say and put my spin on it. And I think that's where people struggle and where people sometimes fail is they try to be something that they're not. So.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And John thinks the world of you. So it's nice to have kind of the legal dream team, if you will, for us now in-house at Dynasty. Okay, let's get back now to the regular scheduled program of Around the Track. And let me ask you the same question that I always ask any of the guests on Around the Track, which is designed to help you break from the gate fast. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, personally and professionally.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Western North Carolina. I am a through and through Tar Heel. All the way. Went to UNC Chapel Hill for undergrad. Moved to DC for law school. Tended to be there for 3 years. Ended up there for 11. Went from law school to a FINRA boutique litigation firm for 2.5 years. Then moved in-house at Edelman Financial, which became Edelman Financial Engines. 5.5 years there. Then moved to Austin, Texas, with Kestra Financial. Did 6 years there in Austin, and I moved in May of this year, May of 2025, with my amazing wife and our 2-month-old daughter, halfway across the country, with our dogs and everything we owned, to take this opportunity. And listen, it's been great.
Yeah. I know you guys are loving St. Pete.
We do.
Everyone who comes here lovely. I always say if I can get you here, then I'll get you.
100%.
All right, so let me just follow on to the background that you just shared. So you were a litigator and then moved over into financial services. Why did you make that decision?
You kind of have to go back to when I went to law school. I graduated undergrad in 2008, as everyone can attest.
Yeah.
2008 to 2011 was not a great time for the economy, the job market, and everything like that. So my second year in law school, I had a friend who worked for a FINRA boutique law firm. She got me an interview. I would take anything at that point in time, honestly. I worked there for a year as a law clerk, and I actually really did enjoy it. It was very interesting. Did a lot of community bank work, things of that nature. So after about 2 years as a litigator there, I figured out that I did not want to keep my life and my billing in 6-minute increments. So I started applying for in-house jobs in everything that was even remotely related to the industry, whether that was banks, whether that was, trust companies, anything.
Yeah.
After about a 9-month process and more interviews than I can count, Edelman finally gave me an opportunity. And, it was really interesting because it was an opportunity that came with a big caveat. It was, you've got 3 months to prove that you deserve to be here. So, and it's been off to the races since then.
Well, as you know, Rick Edelman is a dear friend and close friend of the firm. So when I saw that on your resume, I knew that you had to be talented because I also understood you sat pretty close to Rick, right?
I shared a wall with him for 3+ years. So.
Yeah, well, that's someone who I admire in the space as another entrepreneur who's done incredible things. So you also mentioned your background. The move into financial services, you spent time, which I think is very valuable from a diverse perspective, but I want to get your view on it. You've been at both broker-dealers and obviously supported the RIA side. A big part of our business is helping advisors, transition, whether it's, to full independence or coming from an IBD maybe to full independence. How has your background and experience, you think, helped you be kind of a sage advisor now to advisors that oftentimes are, for them, thinking about what's going to be the most important professional decision of their life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it all starts actually with the litigation, because being a litigator and then going in-house and managing litigation for large companies that had significant amounts of what I would consider significant amounts of litigation coming through, lots of client complaints, things of that nature, just due to the size. It gives you a different perspective because you see the different standards from a broker-dealer to an IA. You see what the impact of suitability versus best interest versus fiduciary standards are. And I was taught a long time ago, there's a test to run, and it's what would I recommend for my grandmother and where would I want her money invested. And I think the most important thing that it's shown me is that the truly independent model where, you've got the triangulation of advice, you've got the independent custody, independent products, independent advisor, that's the best way to go. So it allows me to walk into these meetings and these VIPs we have with these people who are about to make the biggest decision of their career, literally putting their entire life on the line. It makes it easy because I can honestly sit there and say, I truly believe in this. This is how I would do it. This is how I would recommend anyone do it. So it makes it really easy, honestly.
Okay, so let me drill down a little further on that because Dynasty obviously has helped transition some of the biggest, if not the biggest, teams in the industry to independence. And look, what we do is a team sport, and I know that you work very closely with Counsel of the team that we're supporting. But given all you've seen with some of these, let's say, successful moves, but then maybe I'll cheat and get two parts of the question. What are some things that people do really right from a legal standpoint in transition, and what are some common mistakes?
I'll start with the second part first.
Okay.
The number one mistake people make is getting advice from their friend who's a lawyer. Get sophisticated industry counsel.
Right.
this is what, as you said, we've successfully transitioned a lot of advisors because this is what we do.
Right.
This is what we live, eat, breathe. You've got a friend who does employment law and you think that it's applicable. It may be. It may get you 90% of the way there, but the devil really is in the details.
And that 10%.
That 10% makes all the difference between you standing in court and you serving your clients.
Right.
And I think that's the number one thing that you need to get right from the start. Sophisticated counsel will build you a plan, and we will work with them every day throughout the process, giving them my experience, our transition team's experience, our compliance team's experience. We will help them map out a process that will get you exactly where you want to go.
Right.
Don't take any shortcuts, though. Probably number two thing people can do to get themselves in trouble is thinking, no one will figure this out. No one will know.
Yeah.
They will know.
Yeah.
I promise
Yeah.
you.
Assume that the rules apply to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you do this the right way and you respect your obligations to your prior firm and you listen to counsel, you take all the steps, you go through the right steps, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, you may be in a world of trouble. And that's the biggest thing.
And knock on wood, like you said, we've done now hundreds of transitions, and for the most part, they've gone really well. And I think it starts with what you're saying is, from our standpoint, finding the right client. And the right client is someone that is going to listen and going to do things the right way, honoring their previous employer. I just find in life that there are, far less collisions on the high road, right?
The other thing you've also got to remember is every single time I've ever heard someone come in and say, don't worry about it, I have a great relationship with my existing firm, I immediately, a red light goes off in my head, because they're relying on their existing relationships. Right. And that's existing relationships and future relationships are two different things.
Yeah.
And
it's business.
Exactly.
Right?
When you introduce
sometimes
business,
people think it's personal.
100%. It's not personal, but do it the right way. It's personal to you.
Right.
But you also need to remember, take a step back and look at it from a business point of view. Do it the right way and you'll be fine.
All right, let's pivot as we come to the far turn here in our trip around the track. One of the hottest topics in our industry right now by far is M&A. So Dynasty obviously supports our network firms in a whole host of different ways, but part of which is the investment bank and our service team. In our sales team, we're constantly out there looking for advisors that might want to join one of our current firms, whether that's a breakaway M&A scenario or it's another RIA that's looking to sell into our network. What are some trends that you're seeing, whether it's from a legal perspective, structural trends, that you would give advice to someone who is either thinking about getting started to growing inorganically or is just in the process of trying to get into a strong rhythm around M&A growth?
Same exact thing with counsel. Get a professional group to do it. We have an amazing group with Sam and Harris and Amelie, Dylan, all the way
Dynasty's
down.
Investment Bank.
Yeah, exactly. Dynasty's Investment Bank. Victoria, Cyrus, and Ron. I don't want to leave anyone out on that one, just in case. They do an amazing job.
They're all great, yeah.
And they know all the tricks because, frankly, we've probably pulled half the tricks in our prior lives at different firms.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is, not all deals are created equal. The numbers aren't necessarily the numbers. A lot of people get stuck on multiples and seeing all of this stuff. You can have a deal that offers you 15x versus a deal that offers you 12x, and the 12x deal is by far the better deal.
Right.
Because a lot of these deals that we're seeing now are just so highly structured in the, you got earnouts that they'll give you 8x up front, but the 7x is tied to a 20 CAGR. And that's the compound annual growth rate, just to break it down. That's a high number.
Yeah.
That's a really high number versus someone who will give you 10x up front with a 10 CAGR to earn your extra 2x. That's a better deal. Unless you somehow think you are going to absolutely rock the world and grow at 25% every year for 5 years. That's the things that you see a number on paper, you get really focused on it, and if you don't know what you're looking at, that's where you make your mistake.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you hire a really sophisticated investment bank like Dynasty's Investment Bank to walk you through that process and avoid those footfalls.
Yeah, I think whether it's M&A or transition that we're talking about before, there's such important decisions, and getting it wrong is so expensive. It's one of the areas in business that we always tell people, don't go cheap,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Experience matters, and the right experience. And it's like if you had a loved one that was dealing with a health issue, you're always trying to get to the best professionals you can to help you. It's the same thing when you're contemplating doing something that's so transformative to your business.
And it goes back to what you were saying. This is a lot of times the most important
Yep.
transaction any of these people will make in their entire business life.
So treat it as such. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. It's the difference between doing well and creating generational wealth for your family.
Yeah.
You need people that are advising you, and you need the right people.
All right. So a little bit tongue in cheek here. Sometimes the legal profession, in particular, in financial services, can get labeled the business prevention unit,
Yep.
right? I'm sure you've heard that
Oh,
before.
100%.
One of the things that I really enjoy about our relationship, and excited to have you on the team, is you're certainly not the chairman of the business prevention unit. You're pro business, but you have a great strategic mind. Helping us think through issues, obviously from a risk perspective, right? Because it has to kind of start there. And we built a pretty meaningful business, and we have designs to make it even
Still
more,
building.
yeah, even more meaningful. And so there's a lot to protect. But how do you balance between the risk part, which is so important, with also the strategic part to say we can't be so guarded on everything that it prevents our growth?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is hard for a lot of lawyers because we spend 3 years and countless tens of thousands of dollars learning black and white. You
Right.
learn the law. You learn what is right, what is wrong. In business, a lot of times you've got issues that are presented to you that there is no right or wrong answer. It's all gray. You've got issues like AI popping up now. I mean, there is no law. So it's all about risk reward and balancing that and figuring out what the best way to run the business is. As you know, like, to make money and build a business comes with risk. It's all about figuring out what the risks that are acceptable and the risks that are bet the farm and unacceptable. Because the last thing I want to do is, if there's a potential $100 million payday, but it comes with $1 billion of liability, and it's a 15% chance, math tells you that's not a good risk to take. However, if you're sitting there and you're saying with like AI, if we can offer our clients a much better product, we can offer a better experience, we can allow our clients to be more efficient and serve more clients with minimal risk, let's go for it.
Right.
Let's figure out the best way, let's build the best mousetrap, and let's do it. And that's where a lot of, I think, lawyers and others kind of struggle, is you're not going to have the perfect answer. The answer is getting as educated as you possibly can and providing good advice and telling everybody, here's the positives, here's the downside. Let's make a decision and let's go.
Yeah.
And let's move forward.
And be aligned on it. So
100%.
I appreciate that. All right, so we're turning for home now. We're in the stretch. You seem to be doing fine. Uh, I want to ask you a question around talent, and maybe give you an opportunity to do some public service here, which is to attract more talent into the space, and whether it's on the legal side, the financial advisor, relationship manager, ops tech, the industry, and we do have perhaps some disruption coming with AI. But at the end of the day, it's still very much a people business, and we need more talent in the space. So, what would you say? Perhaps it's the young you, or that young legal professional who is contemplating making a move into financial services. I hope you would say that they should do it, but why should they?
I will say they should do it with a caveat.
Okay.
You should do it if you're passionate. If you are not, this is not a profession for people that dabble. It's not for dipping your toe in. It's not. You have to go head first. I mean, when I started at Edelman, I told you I had a 3 month get up to speed period. Within the first week, I went and sat in the CEO, Renee Che's office, and I said, I don't know what EBITDA is. Teach me. And I think I got there like 5:30. I left at 2 in the morning, and we repeated that once or twice a week for not 3 months, for about a year
Yeah.
before I really
Learn the language. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's where you can sit in those meetings and you can actually give an informed opinion. So it's that. It's go head first. It's take classes when you have the opportunity in law school, even in undergrad, when you're starting out. It's go to professional seminars. It's apply for every position you possibly can. It doesn't have to be in a legal department. Most legal departments are pretty small, but there's a lot of legal adjacent jobs. There's
Right.
compliance.
Sure.
I mean, we have a lawyer who sits in our compliance department. I know several compliance departments that have the same. It gives you that ability to move back and forth. I have a cousin who's actually a financial advisor and going to law school. He's so far ahead of what I was at his
Yeah.
point in time because he knows he's been on both sides. He can talk the language that they want to hear, that our clients want to hear, and then he also knows how to talk to end clients.
Right.
So it's things like that. It's take every single opportunity, go for it, and you will not regret it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is I truly do enjoy what I do. I enjoy this industry and everything like that. There's a lot of things that if I could talk to younger me, I'd be like, don't go out to the bar tonight. Go out to go to this seminar instead.
Yeah.
And those are things that I think everybody needs to hear. Is just
Yeah.
go head first.
Yeah. Awesome. Got to be all in, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think you would agree that we both say that working at Dynasty is not a part-time gig. So,
No.
all right. So, last question. You will not be surprised at this one either. It's the same question I ask every guest on Around the Track, and that's what's your triple crown? And what I mean by that, is what is that one big, seemingly unattainable goal? Can be personal, professional, or both. That for you would be kind of the pinnacle of winning your personal triple crown.
I'll give you two answers. One, because I'm also a sports junkie, so I have a triple crown for sports as well.
Okay.
Kentucky Derby's on there. I have not been to that. World Cup final is on there. And then for soccer people, they'll know the Champions League. Those are my triple crown of sports since we're doing a sports related.
Yeah.
Personally,
Not a bad list.
nah. Personally, for me, it's seeing this company grow because I accepted this job and moved halfway across the country with the intention of making it my career, my destination, not a stop.
Yeah.
So it's to hit that 1 trillion in assets.
Yeah.
That is the one that really I see as okay. That's where we're the major player. That's where we are. That's where we're going, and it's just. That's a spot though. That's not the end of it though. I have a feeling you would agree.
Yeah.
The other is for me personally with my family is to be able to have generational wealth, to be able to come from where I came from, and I had a great family, but from a furniture town in Western North Carolina. My wife was born and raised in Russia. Like for us to be able to pass on generational wealth to our daughter is something that for me is just like the pinnacle. When I've done that and when I've gotten to that point in time, that for me is the end all be all. And I guess for a third one would be to extend that also to my extended family, to be able to tell my parents, don't worry about it. Wherever you want to go, let's go.
Yeah. I think that's like a 3A and 3B as we would say in racing terms. So I would bet on you to be successful in hitting all three of those Triple Crown goals. Shawn, thank you for sitting down and having this conversation with me. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of you for tuning in to another edition of Around the Track.